If you're a boba fanatic like me, you probably made a lot of milk teas at home, whether it's teas, coffees, milkshakes, juices, smoothies, milk teas, what have you. And throughout that journey, you probably, it's like, oh, I wish I had X, Y, and Z. Maybe you needed certain equipment, maybe you need a utensil, or maybe you need the right ingredients, and maybe perhaps you're like, oh, if I had that one thing, then this might be the video for you. Or if you're a person that's starting out on your boba journey, then maybe some of these items will be helpful for you. What's up, Boba Gang? Welcome back. For those who are returning, subs up, and for those who are tuning in for the first time, thank you. I hope you liked the video, and if you do enjoy, please hit that like and subscribe for me. All right, so first, a lot of the items I'm going to be listing right now under the essentials are not really essentials, but they are nice to have. You could definitely make do without these, especially if you're just starting off and you don't want to be blowing a lot of money. And secondly, a lot of the items I'm going to be recommending, they're going to be pretty versatile. So it's not just strictly bubble tea. You can always use it for making like cocktails. You can make it for coffee, smoothies, what have you. So the whole point of this, just like in most of my life, is making sure that a lot of these are versatile. So you're just not pigeonholed to just one of your hobbies. Be able to use every single item, be able to expand on it. All right, so getting right into it. One of the very first items you probably see when you go to a lot of bubble shops is going to be a cup shaker. Now, then with the cup shaker, these are generally plastic, out of some kind of polyurethane. And what they come with would be the shake cup, the lid, and the cap. Now then, is this one a necessity? It'll be nice if you're able to really put whatever beverage you want here with the ice and really shake it up. Now then, the one thing I would say is that these caps, typically, if you lose it or break it, then getting another one is a pain in the butt. These caps aren't very durable, so if you do like, let's say 100 drinks over, the lifetime of the cup, the rest of it will be fine, but the cap is probably the one that will break. For us, we lost numerous caps, and for us to try to find them that fits this specific thing has been quite difficult. For these cups, you'll find a lot of them at different price points, but you could probably spend like in general anywhere between like $8 to like $13. Now then, if you are getting into, let's say, bartending, you'll probably want to lean more towards the metal, primarily stainless steel versions of it, so it keeps the drink a little bit cooler, and it's just honestly it just feels so much better with a nice metal shake cup than it is with these plastic ones. But these plastic ones are perfectly fine when you're just starting off. Uh, if you do end up with metal ones, that'd be fantastic because for those, they come in a wide variety of shapes and sizes as well. So you could get one just like this that's pretty familiar, or you could do like the Boston Shake Up where there's like two metal cups and you just shake them. Those will be a little bit easier to take off as you just smack it on the side and you can open them apart. The next one, and probably arguably the more important item, will be the scale. If it's not obvious on why you need a scale, then we probably need to talk a lot about just general cooking and all that stuff. But with the scale, that's what you basically use to measure out a lot of your teas, just any of your measurements. So definitely get that one on there. You don't have to go and splurge out for the most expensive one. Just make sure that the scale that you have, it could do a lot of different types of measurements, whether you do it in ounce, grams, milliliters, or whatever kind of volume you want to be able to measure. Just get one that just US measurements, but try to get one that does the metric system as well. The next one is going to be something that we don't actually have in the shop. I have this one at home, and it's the gooseneck kettle. So we're gonna pretend this is a gooseneck kettle, okay? I know it's not, but suspend all disbelief. I personally use the Govee gooseneck kettle. If you look at any other YouTuber, like, the ones that are like coffee nerds, like James Hoffman or Morgan Ecton, they all use some form of gooseneck kettle. They are on the more pricier side, which is fantastic, it's great, but I'm kind of cheap. So I want to have like, just enough of the amenities I'm looking for without having to spend like $200 or $300. So I went with a Govee Smart Neck Goose, so that way I'm able to program the teas like black, oolong, green, and the temperature for coffee. So if I use my trigger word, it'll start the kettle while I'm waking up, so that way when I go downstairs, I already have the gooseneck kettle ready for me and be able to pour it into whatever teas I'm making or whatever coffee I'm making. So if I was, let's say, making a yerba mate for the day, I just pick up the gooseneck kettle I'm able to pour. Now then, of course, you can use a normal kettle, okay? They're perfectly fine, but a lot of their spouts are a little bit on the wider side. Now then, this one is pretty narrow, but for a lot of the other kettles, they are much wider and they're kind of harder to like hold to get that precise control. So with the gooseneck kettle, most of them are pretty much on the smaller side, or if you get a larger one that you put on your stove top, that's perfectly fine as well. But with the long stem, you're able to control it better, so that way you can use it for your pour over, your French press, your teapot, whatever it is that you want to use it for. So I definitely recommend getting a gooseneck kettle. For the next one, it's not just for the folks that are doing it at home. You can actually use this at Boba Cafe. So the next time you go out on a boba run, you can definitely use this. And that is a boba straw. Now then, with the boba straw, just try to be more eco-friendly with it. And I believe the amount of times you have to use a boba straw to outdo the number of plastic. I believe the last time I looked at it was around like 300 cups or something. So if you're doing it at home, it gets kind of expensive. You start doing like 300 cups of boba at home and having to get plastic straws every single time. So I would definitely recommend getting a boba straw. Now then, of course, if you're at home, you can definitely just use a smoothie straw. So that works perfectly fine. Just if you do get a boba straw, of course you want to get a side that's pointy because most places still use the plastic film that goes on it. So at least with your drinks, you could use it to stab into it. Of course, you can still use a smoothie straw. That's perfectly fine. And you can definitely use that when you go out as long as you have something to puncture the top. And of course, more places are kind of like leaning away from it because it's not that environmentally friendly. The next one I would touch on would be the barista stirrer. So with these, they're just basically metal spoons. There's some of them that are aluminum or aluminium for any UK watchers. And I guess, actually, for a good chunk of the world, I guess Americans were the only ones that say aluminum. And some Canadian friends that are allies. I see you, Canada. Obviously you're using it to stir. So if you got like a taro or a matcha latte powder, emphasis on the word matcha latte powder, not the regular matcha, the ceremonial ones that you kind of see a lot of people make. So you could definitely use it for that, or maybe hojicha or whatever powder drink you have, okay? Or not even just powder drinks. You could just use this to stir a cup in case if you don't have a shake cup, you know? One of the beauties with these is that because these have these little twists there, you're able to pour syrup on there so that would just drip slowly into your cup so that way you could make better layered drinks. Next one that's also pretty important, I probably should rank this one a little bit higher, will be a measuring cup. So for obvious reasons, you need a measuring cup so that way you're able to measure the volume of whatever drink you're looking to make. So yeah, measuring cup, plain and simple. If you don't have this one, don't know what to tell you because I feel like a measuring cup is what most people should have. For the next one I have is only essential if you don't have a smart kettle, okay? And that's a thermometer. For obvious reasons, you're using this to measure out the temperatures of your water before you mix it with your teas or whatever you're using it for. So if you don't have a smart kettle, I would recommend getting a thermometer. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, just have something that's long enough in case you make large batches, okay? And the last essentials is what I dubbed a different name. These are called jiggities, okay? Now then, if you actually go look at any bartending YouTuber, they actually have a different name called jiggers, okay? And for obvious reasons, I really don't like calling those, especially in the shop, because someone could easily mishear it and then it sets off something completely different. And I haven't actually looked into the origins of why it's called that, but I feel like I don't want to find out. So if anything, I'm just calling them jiggity. This covers basically all the essentials that you need for your at-home boba cafe, but to make it even greater, we're going to add a few more items just to make it feel like you're at a boba cafe. So an optional one is this plastic scooper. These basically measure around like, I think it was like 1 ounce and or about 5 grams. These are what you typically see boba cafes use when they're scooping out powdered drinks. So whether it's the honeydew or taro, the matcha latte, maybe a taro or a milk tea, these are what you'll typically see with those. These are really easy to come by and they're really affordable, so you get like 10 of these if you really want to. The next one is a boba scooper. So with the boba scoopers, or topping scoopers, as the name implies, you're just scooping out the boba, scooping out the jelly, scooping out the popping boba, the beans, whatever you're using to top your drink up. Okay. Now then, for these, they kind of come apart right here in this little area right here, so that way you're able to clean it in case of things get stuck. However, these I don't like too much. I actually prefer the ones that you use for hot pot with a thicker handle. If you do hot pot, just use that one, okay? I think they're just more ergonomically friendly than these little uh, bubble scoopers. This one you could definitely get if you do a lot of coffee drinks and you love doing, latte art. And that is a milk frother. It's not the gooseneck kettle anymore. It is a milk frother. So yeah, so for this, you could either get this one if you have an espresso machine that can steam, or you can always get the little wand, so you could easily froth your milk, and then that way it'll escalate your milk tea drinks to a higher level, so that way you can create like a cold foam to put on top of, let's say, a matcha or something. So let's say hypothetically you're hosting a party and you know the Avengers are going to come out, or maybe the Demon Corps are going to be pulling through, then you'll probably need a beverage dispenser. With the beverage dispenser, you could just make one item and just have it in there, and then you just have everybody serve and have a kind of like a DIY boba bar. Or the other option is you make a base of something and then you have multiple items around, so you could like jazz it all up. So example would be if you have like a few different flavors of popping boba, and the base of it could be a lemonade, and then you have different flavors of syrups. That way you're able to make a strawberry dragon fruit lemonade, you could make a passion fruit mango lemonade, or whatever. Or maybe you have a base that's Thai tea, and then you have like maybe lychee juice or condensed milk, evaporated milk, or maybe just our milk substitutes like oat milk, almond milk, soy milk, what have you. But a beverage dispenser is definitely a great thing for you to have. Another one I would also recommend would be having a nice high quality blender, especially one that has a vast ecosystem. For us, we use a Vitamix Quiet One blender, and for that, we are able to have different pitchers that we can use for it. So we can have a regular blender, and then we can have aerator disc. Quick tip, and you can apply this across any of your hobbies and or technology and stuff like that, would be checking out the ecosystem for whatever product you're looking to get. So ecosystems help make or break certain items. If you're limited on budget, you want to make sure that whatever you get is maximized, to as much as you can. Example will be the squat rack. Whether it's a full or half rack, you just want to make sure that there's wide enough third party available for it, so that way you're not just stuck with just that one brand. Last and foremost, I feel like this shouldn't really be optional, and I feel like I shouldn't have to name this one, but you know what? People like to surprise me sometimes. And that's basically having a pot that's big enough to make boba. And then the thing to use is strain it. Okay? So for us, we just have a large pot that we use to make the boba, because since we make a pretty good amount, we definitely need a large pot. You can always go with a bigger stock pot, but of course, if you're not making that much boba, there's no point of getting a huge pot, okay? And then the strainer that we use is a colander, so that way we're able to put in the sink, and then it's raised up a little bit. And then we had to actually put another kind of like strainer inside it, because the bubble would sometimes seep through of just a regular colander. All right, bubble gang. So that's basically the entire list of the essentials you need and optional ones to really elevate your boba game. Is there anything that y'all already use, or something that you think that other members in our community would need? Please comment that below. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like and subscribe. Peace.